So I know tomorrow is your first tour date, but do you have big plans when this tour is over on what you're going to do next?
After the U.S. tour, we're going to go to Europe, actually, at the end of November, which I'm really stoked about just because, we haven't played over there yet. So it's going to be really cool just to bring the show overseas and to be able to see some of those places, just from a traveling standpoint, but mostly just to bring the music to the fans who, have been begging us to come over there for a while. So going to do Europe, and then who knows, I think that's probably going to be a busy year next year, probably a bunch of touring, probably some recording, a bunch of different stuff. It's tough to say kind of concretely what exactly is going to happen, but I do know Europe is on the calendar and definitely my next big thing that we're doing, and just couldn't be, more excited and more ready to do that. It's going to be so cool.
Cool. If someone didn't know you or know your music, in your own words, how would you describe yourself and your music to them?
I think that, for me, I'm a songwriter before I'm anything else. So the songwriting is really the part that is the most important to me. And, I think that the songs that I write are influenced by so many different types of music that it's hard to say, exactly what kind of genre my music would fall into. But obviously, it's definitely mainstream. It's definitely pop, rock music. But it's inspired by, classic rock. It's inspired by blues. It's inspired by, all kinds of different stuff. And so I think that more than anything, since I do want to be viewed as a songwriter first, and I want to write songs that actually can speak to people and mean something to people, a lot of times I say that, I hope that my music can translate to people as sort of pop music with heart, and by heart I mean just integrity and a message and lyrics that, allow people to relate to them, rather than just sort of filler lyrics that sound catchy. I want to write lyrics that sound catchy, but also, are actually saying something intellectually and poetically to express, a certain feeling or a certain experience. And so, it's kind of a blend of a lot of different stuff, but I think that, artists that I grew up admiring like Sheryl Crow really achieve that balance. She can have a song on the radio, but it's also a song that you can listen to when, you really just need a song to describe to you what's going on in your life. And so I think that's kind of what I'm aiming for.
Okay. Recording A Fine Mess, was that any different than your previous album as far as going through the recording process?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what was different this round was, that, when you write your first record, you kind of go into the studio with this huge body of work that you've written your whole life. And this album was kind of just a collection of stuff that I've written over the last year and a half, so it's very recent. And with the first record, I think that I'd played those songs for 5 to 6 years, that I sort of knew exactly how I wanted to execute them. We sort of went in and they were very much just straightforward, the way that I'd written them and the way that I'd sort of envisioned it. With this record, it was definitely one of those things where I went into the studio kind of open-ended, being like, I'm not sure which direction any of these songs are going to take, but, I know at the core of it what I want the songs to sound like. And so, the coolest part about making this record was that Mike Elizondo, who produced it, brought in these musicians that were just amazing with their instincts. I think that was the coolest part, is that I would describe it as what I wanted to hear. And, even though I can't get on the drum set and execute it, because I haven't gotten there quite yet, a guy like Abe Laboriel Jr. can get in there and play exactly what it was I had in mind, just because he's got that ear, and Mike Elizondo knows exactly how to communicate that to him. And so it was just this really cool collaborative effort where, I came in with these songs and these ideas, and these just super talented people helped me build these songs into exactly what I was hoping they'd be.
Cool. What would you say has been your biggest challenge so far in your career?
It's a tough question, because I think that I try to look at everything like, a learning experience, but I think the biggest challenge for me has probably just been to, I think that it's tough when, I think that the fact that I have this amazing audience that just is so perfect for the music that I write is such a blessing. You know, it's really cool because I think, you know, a good part of my audience came from playing my music on One Tree Hill. But a lot of times people think that I was an actress before I was a singer. And, you know, sometimes people look at that like, oh, you know, it's not as legitimate. But I actually have been singing and writing songs since I was 15 and just so happened to get a role on One Tree Hill, you know, not expecting to ever get into acting. So yeah, I think that it's definitely tough to sort of differentiate yourself and say, hey, I'm a legitimate songwriter, especially when you're a young girl. You know, a lot of times people want to look at you like just some bubblegum, you know, chick who sort of just gets on stage and sings somebody else's songs and, you know,